Hello, welcome to our video program again. Today we'll look at texture. We'll investigate in a new fascinating technique called rubbing. But for now, let's see what texture is all about. Texture is the surface quality of an object. It can be seen or felt. Well, if we go by this definition, then texture is either visual or tactile. That is, you can see it or touch it. Just imagine the feeling you get while touching the smooth surface of a toy car, or the coarse surface of a pineapple. Therefore, texture can be smooth, rough, texture can be fluffy, spiky. You can add to this list as many more textures you find in the environment. Well, texture can simply be found everywhere. But for now, we'll look at texture in nature. Just a little trip to Rivière des Galets and you will find beautiful textures on the pebbles. Other examples are sand desert, wood planks, cracks in the soil, intricate textures on a tree trunk, line scratches on local shell, texture on a passion fruit. Interesting textures are also found on man-made objects. Perforated metal sheet shows a pattern of holes. Wall bricks, paving blocks. Texture can be recorded in many ways, but for now we'll look at implied texture. Implied texture is texture that we have recorded through drawing, painting, rubbing, printing, etc. Whether you're using a pencil or a pen to record texture, the results you obtain will be known as implied texture. Have you ever heard of the rubbing technique? Rubbing, also known as frottage, is the process of applying pressure on paper with a drawing medium to record the texture underneath. Materials often used for rubbing are colored pencils, chalk pastel, graphite pencils, wax crayons, oil pastels. These are examples of compositions made through the rubbing technique. Observe the different textures. Can you identify from which objects they are? Now, let's have a look at how artists use texture. As an element of art, textures are found in artworks. Albrecht Dürer showed the fluffy texture in his work, the hair. Observe how the artist used texture to suggest mass and volume. Artists also use thick paint and expressive brush strokes to show texture. Now, I'll show you how to record textures through rubbing. Rubbing is a quick method to record textures. Place your paper on a texture surface. Here, I am using a corrugated board. Press and rub the medium a bit hard, and here you go. The texture appears almost instantly. I take another colored pastel and a leaf Put my paper on this textured surface, rub the wax crayon over it, and this is the result. Now you can create a texture chart like this with all the textures you obtain. You can write down the origin of your textures. For example, I've written leaf under this texture, but to be more precise, I have written beetle leaf here and guava leaf. Well, students, we have come to the end of this lesson. Thank you for watching. See you again for another lesson.